Good afternoon everybody, and welcome to this afternoon's baking session. We are doing chocolate chip cookies this afternoon. This is a really simple recipe, and in fact the mixture that you make can keep in the fridge for a bit of time. So we'll do the batch today and cook them today, but just so you know, you can make the batch, make the dough, and then keep it in the fridge for when you feel in need of a cookie or three. So we have some basic ingredients. We've got, I'm going to go through this, 225 grams of unsalted butter which has been softened a little, 225 grams of caster sugar, some condensed milk. This is 170 grams of condensed milk. You can also get it in tubes, but tin actually I find easy because you can get it all out then. And 350 grams of self-raising flour. We've then got 220 grams of Cadbury's Dairy Milk, two of these bars. The recipe says 200 grams in total of dark chocolate and roasted hazelnuts. Because of Matthew's nut allergy, we replace the hazelnuts with chocolate, and I'm sure having an extra 20 grams of chocolate isn't any particular issue. So to begin with, in a large bowl we're going to cream the butter and mix the sugar in with it. So I'm just find a spatula and pop that in. With the sugar, and again using the whisk to beat this in. So it says cream the butter until pale. I think that's pale enough. So I'm just going to try to extract the all the butter from the beaters now. So getting as much as that butter and sugar out. There we go. And so we now have creamed butter and sugar, and next is to add the condensed milk. Make sure all of that goes in, as well as the lid. We'll take that out. We're going to mix that in before we add in the flour and the chocolate. So stirring that in. To the mixture. It just then will help the flour into that. So now in with the flour. This is where I get the flour all over me. So all of the flour in. And now I'm just going to ease that in So that looks pretty good. So now in with the chocolate. Just try to spread that around a bit and knock some chocolate onto the floor. What I'm going to do here is replace the spatula with a spoon, as that might make it for slightly easier work. And this is just a case of working in the chocolate. You can obviously also buy chocolate chips if you don't want to chop up a bar of dairy milk. You can of course weigh out precisely 200 grams of dairy milk and have the remaining 20 grams for yourself. The key is that the mixture needs to be well mixed, so there is no so this goes on to a piece of foil. I'm going to put a bit of flour. So you've got about half the mixture goes into. That's absolutely hopeless. This is where I return to my spatula. And so we have about half, probably about half-ish mixture. What we're going to do now is make that into a roll. Like that. And try the ends. And that's that, and I will do the same in a moment with the other half of the mixture. They go in the fridge and we'll be back to pop those in the oven a bit later. The oven needs to be preheated at 180 degrees for the cookies. So they need to be, that mixture needs to be well chilled. When it's well chilled, you better cut it and then pop it in the oven. So we'll see you in a bit. Hello, these have been in the fridge for an hour or so. So these are sort of, this is one I made earlier, batch I made earlier. So now we cut them into decent chunks. They will spread and flatten out as they cook. But here we go. So I'm just going to cut this up now. Ooh. That one's not great, but we'll put that one on there, and then just what I normally do is just pat them down and make them a bit round. Pop them on a, you'll see it, so they're a bit sticky, so I pop them on but the idea is you can make them as fat or thin as you want, but obviously they're meant to be a little soft in the middle. So and then they go into a preheated oven at 180 degrees for about 15 minutes. So they should start to brown, but they do need to retain some of their softness in the middle. So I'm just going to wipe my hands and then pop them in to the oven. You've got a tray in there already. So these are going to spread out rather than rise. And as I said, they're going to go in for about 15 minutes until they are brown but soft, still soft in the middle. You then let them cool and they're good to go then. So we shall be back in a moment with a batch I did earlier. Welcome back, and there's a batch in the oven that I prepared earlier, and so I'm just going to take one batch out as the others are cooking to show you what they should look like. And again, because I cut them fairly thick, they are big cookies, so these will keep you going. One will keep you going for a little while. So you can see they are a good brown colour, and I'm hoping, now these are very soft, so I think actually
get another spatula.
I may. That's a good call, Alexander.
Or that.
Get another spatula and lift these gently up onto a cooling rack to cool and harden. These are proper good cookies that, as I said, hopefully in the middle they'll be nice and soft. And there's a little one there, and once they've cooled, Alexander and I no doubt will have a sample. So those are our chocolate chip cookies. So I hope you enjoy those. Really easy to make, doesn't take a huge amount of time. So before we go, I will take the others out in due course, but before we go, just a few announcements. Tonight at 7 o'clock it's Film Club, and we're watching Love and Mercy, which is on iPlayer, available on iPlayer if you look for that. It's a great story about Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. So join us on Zoom at 7 o'clock for that, just a general discussion about the film, and look out for next week's. And then also starting on Sunday is Christian Aid Week, and as a parish we've been very supportive of Christian Aid Week in past years. Obviously this year is a bit different, and we're having to be a bit inventive and imaginative as to what we do in respect to Christian Aid Week. So there are a few things, and there will be an email round and some Facebook stuff on this towards the end of the week and at the weekend. But Bernard Perry is walking to Bournemouth Beach and back. Usually he participates in the Christian Aid organised sponsored walk on the beach. He can't do that, or that's not happening this year, so he's walking to the beach and back, which is about 5-mile walk. So please do think about sponsoring Bernard. And then we've got a couple of offers. One is that Alexander and I will take orders for cakes that we have produced over the past few weeks. And once lockdown is over and it's safe to do so, we will freshly bake you a cake or cakes of your choosing and deliver them to you. But you need to pay for them next week or over the course of the next week, and send me an email to let me know what cakes you would like us to produce for you. So that's a virtual cake sale, but you will get the cakes in due course. And then finally, we've got a couple of other things. Saturday nights we have our quiz night, and we thought that on Saturday the 16th of May, at the end of Christian Aid Week, we could make that as a special fundraiser for Christian Aid, and we're suggesting a donation of £5 per team to participate in that quiz night. That's not compulsory, so please do still feel free to join us with the quiz night, but we thought we'd do a special fundraiser that everyone can take part in on that evening. And then finally, on Thursday next week, Alexander, Matthew and I will do a 12-hour marathon cycling on a static cycling trainer called a turbo trainer. So we're going to start at 8 o'clock next Thursday morning and finish at 8 o'clock in the evening, and see how many miles we can do virtually. So you're very welcome to sponsor us either per mile or per hour or in total, and all the details will be on Facebook, as well as an email to say how you can sponsor us, how you can sponsor Bernard, and anything that we are doing over the course of the next week, so we can support Christian Aid at this time. That's all. Enjoy the cookies as and when you make them, and we will see you again very soon.